All right, Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching and ruler well in the scriptures. Citations to Akim across the world, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity and charity. All right, and from what you can see here, this was given as an assignment. All right, I'm part of the Great Millstone Chicago branch. This was given as an assignment from Elder Malcolm. All right, we were check this movie out. All right, it's called Rampage, President Down. And this Esau, his tongue, he shall make his tongue to fall upon his own self. As they say, let me actually get there real quick. Because he shows you in this movie how, well, actually, he shows you situations that we're actually experiencing in our reality outside of these movies. Why? Because the movies basically tells you these people's plans. It tells you about the truth of the society. And it desensitizes these people to a lot of things, man. But let me get this scripture. Because this movie shows a lot, man, Get this real quick. Let the scriptures talk. This is Psalms. Let me see where I can get it. This is Psalms chapter 64, verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." So these movies, for example, Rampage, President Down, movies of this such, movies and series like this, they show you the true wickedness behind the things that behind the scenes that take place here in Babylon the Great, America, Babylon the Great. Okay. And in the movie, this man was known as a terrorist, but the things that he was saying were, according to this reality, it was according to the things that us on the highways and byways teach, because we understand and we know to the fullness through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai what the wicked is capable of. That's why it tells you that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So a lot of the devices used in this society are to totally control the people. Draconian law, which you're seeing take place now. All right, by them implementing this, social distancing, shelter in place. These things are a part of the agenda of the wicked elite. All right, which are the so-called Illuminati, which are the banking families, which are the heads of the nation of Edom. Okay, but we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai that this is coming to an end. Why? Because now you have other Edomites raising up against other Edomites. You have Edomites coming against the government, and that's what this movie shows. Shows one Edomite, he goes on a rampage, he kills the president and the vice president, so on and so forth. And that shows you that the scriptures and the prophecy is correct. It shows you that these movies are pinpointing and bringing out the same things and some of the same points that we bring out through the spirit. Why? Because the wicked elite know they know that they're at their end. And we're going to continue to bring out the truth. This is let me get this real quick. And this shows you this, man. Isaiah 19:2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." So you have the Democrats and the Republicans. You even have your everyday Joe Six-Pack Edomite who's disagreeing with the government. They even had a scene where, I don't want to spoil it, but they had a scene where it was it was confusion and disagreement within the police force, within the FBI, within the DEA. And this is what's going to happen, because the Lord's going to turn these Edomites against each other. The Egyptians, modern day Egyptians, according to Revelations, because that's where we are, spiritual Sodom and Egypt, modern day Egyptians, which are the Edomites, against Edomites. Okay? All the way up to the very top, including the elite banking families. There's gonna be disagreements, and they're gonna be set against each other by Yahweh Bashim Shai, and that's a part of the prophecy. And it shows you in this movie, all right, certain aspects of that, within the FBI, within the DEA, within the police force. Edomites disagreeing with each other in these, and even in these circumstances, and in these situations, man. Okay, and that signals the downfall of a kingdom. Okay, because they happened during the time of the Greeks and the Romans. That's why you have the Greek and Roman wars. All right, you have the different types of wars that you read about in the Maccabees, where the biblical Edomites, the Romans, were warring against the Greeks, and then you had Romans against Romans and Greeks. Wickedness, man. And what eventually happened? These nations, they eventually came to an end. Okay, and that's what's happening once again. I'm gonna read this one more time. It's Isaiah 19:2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." And that's what's eventually going to happen. You're gonna have these militia troops going right up against the government, going right against and having gunfights and shootouts against the DEA, the military against other, militias, the DEA and FBI. Have all this separation in these last days, and that signifies that this man's kingdom is coming to an end. Okay, why? Because these other Edomites are taking matters into their own hands, just like the scripture says what would happen in the last days. Okay, this is and this man here, Billy. All right, you can watch the movie Rampage, President Down. He came against the government, and he committed a great act in his eyes, in the Edomite's eyes, against his fellow brethren, another Edomite, the president and the vice president. All right, so these Edomites are going to eventually take power into their hands, just like the scripture says. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. That's what we're experiencing. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, race wars. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, which would be, the present and modern day president, vice president, treasurer. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions, which this man, he created his own course of actions throughout the whole series of a Rampage. But this last one was it gave a lot of information through the spirit, looking at it in spiritual eyes. He went ahead and took out the president, vice president, etc. himself. So what did he do? It says, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So his course of action stood in his own power of his knowledge of weapons and hunting and military military information. Excuse me for a lack of better words. Military. What's another good word for that? His military actions, or his plans. You really have to watch the movie, and I don't want to spoil it. That's why I'm not trying to say too much, give too much information, because it's real good. But that's basically what the main character of this film went ahead and did. And this is the Wicked Elite put these movies out because they understand what's going to eventually take place. Okay. It also is prophecy. Okay. This is get this real quick, because we can measure the time diligently, like it says in 2nd Ezra 9, by what? The tokens that Yahushua left us. Okay. So let's go into Mark, the 3rd chapter. We're going to start at 22. It says, and the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he hath Beelzebub, to talk about Yahushua, and by the prince of devils casteth he out devils. So people, they proclaim and say that we're crazy, and that what we're bringing out is of the devil, and we're full of hate, and they just have a lot of animosity towards us, and that's the persecution. Because what? They hated him who rebuketh in the gate. Okay? And it also says that the truth shall be evil spoken of. But what? The true Satan and the true devil, all right, that puts out that spirit of Satan on the earth, is fallen. And the Lord left us tokens. It says Mark 3:23. It says, and he called and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, Edomites against Edomites, we read in Isaiah the 19th chapter, the Lord will set the Egyptian versus the Egyptian. That's a divided kingdom. And that's how the nation of Israel fell. Divided kingdoms, divided tribes. You see? Mark 3:24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And that's what you're seeing take place. And that's what this movie also showed. Like I said, you have division in the police force, division in the DEA, division in the FBI, division in the government, division in these banking families. Because this man is divided against himself, which means that what? He's going to come to an end soon. Okay, in these movies, certain movies, you can pick these things out, man. Okay, certain scenes in them. All right, but I'm going to read some more. Mark 3:23, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself, you see, Edomite rising up, going on killing sprees. You see, it says, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. And that's the times that we're in. And this movie clearly showed that if you go back and watch it and you look at the scenes in it, it gives you all these tokens through the spirit. All right, so that's what's taking place. And it shows you in these movies, man. It says, let me get this one last scripture. I'm going to close out here. I don't want to make it too long. This is the time we're living in, man. This man is on his way out. Let's see here. This is the book of Luke. This is the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 16. Because what the truth we're teaching is from the Lord, man. So we have to understand it, and we're narrating the reality through the Spirit. All right. This is Luke 10:16. He that heareth you heareth me, and he that despiseth you despiseth me, and he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. And that was the Lord seeing this man's downfall, which we're living in now through the Spirit, man, and letting the disciples know that when this time comes, you're going to have all this, you're going to have the knowledge of what's going on, you see? And that's what we have. And that's what? Prophecy. All right, so Lord willing, that was edifying. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching and ruling well in the scriptures. Salutations to you, Akim, across the world, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity with charity. Shalom and a Bible ball.